Hey Samford fans, welcome into this year's Samford women's basketball season preview. I'm John McAfoose, happy as always to be joined by Carley Kuhns, head coach of the women's basketball program. Carley, appreciate you being here, and it feels good to have some basketball around the corner finally.
That's right, I know, we are in single digits, so yeah, we're really excited.
Well, year two at the helm of this program for you. Year one was certainly a success, SoCon regular season and tournament champions, but certainly a lot of key departures from last year's team. You lost 8 players in all, including 3 starters, Paige Sarup, Charity Brown, and Sarah Myers, who's now GA with the program, so she's still involved. But when you add it all up, a lot of productivity and leadership that has to be replaced this year.
Yeah, you know, we lost a big group of core kids from our program, and just like you said, in terms of production and in terms of leadership, and just some really, really good kids. And so we've had to almost turn over the entire roster, and just from a numbers perspective. But you know, that group was a really special group, and what a great way to send them out, you know, into their career field with that championship. And so a lot of them are doing some really, really cool things. We've got one in dental school, Charity's coaching right now, so 2 coaches in her and Sarah, and a lot of people in graduate programs, and so just really proud of that group.
I know they all just came back to get their rings recently too, so it must have felt pretty good to have the group back together again.
Yes, it was a really cool day to get them together and celebrate that championship, because the last time they had even been together as a group was that day in Asheville, because we had sent them home for spring break for a couple days, and so it was kind of surreal. It was a really emotional day, just having them all together, and just to see them and how excited they were to be together and see each other. And those seniors, it's funny because you tell these kids it's going to go by fast, and then you're going to be in the real world, and then what smacks them in the face, and they're like, "You are so right," you know. And so to be around their friends and their teammates, it was a special day.
Let's talk about the returners, and it all starts with Natalie Armstrong, preseason All-SoCon selection a year after being first-team All-SoCon and was the tournament's most outstanding player as well. It's hard to put a value on what she means to this team. Obviously a focal point, if not the focal point, of your offense this year. What can you expect from her in her senior year?
Yeah, I'm really excited for Natalie this season. She worked really hard in the off season. You know, she has an older sister that played at the University of Georgia and has a lot of friends that are in the WNBA, so she got to spend most of the summer working out with those players, which I can already tell it's improved her game. But I think she's come in with a higher expectation of herself now and of this team. You know, last year there was so many unknowns of, you know, what are we going to do? What's my role going to be? And now she knows it, and she's embraced that, and I think she's really taken ownership over that and taken ownership over this team. And so I'm excited for the season that she's going to have, just because, you know, yeah, from a point production standpoint and from a playing standpoint, but even from a leadership standpoint, she's a really good teammate. She wants everyone around her to have success. It's not just about Natalie, and I think that's what makes her even better.
You've also got Shantae Battle and Raven Omar returning. Let's start with Shantae. Obviously, all defensive team. She can really play on that side of the ball, and we've seen her have some explosive games offensively too. I would imagine maybe she's someone you're looking at to take on more of a point production role this year.
Yeah, we've had that conversation a lot, and she's really worked on her game, expanded her 3-point range, working a lot on her mid-range, and had that conversation. She's not a kid that ever cares about scoring. She doesn't, you know, she just wants to win, and she will do whatever it takes to win. And we've had that conversation. If you need me to score, coach, I'll do everything I can to score. But she's probably our most athletic, most dynamic player, because she can do a little bit of everything. And I've noticed her in this preseason looking to score more, looking to do more, looking to, you know, contribute more from an offensive standpoint. And she's got all the tools and the capability to do it. It's just changing that mindset from, you know, looking for all those players around you that can score to go in to score the ball.
And talk about the point guard position with Charity gone. Raven coming back, of course, a lot of leadership there, a lot of quickness. Talk about her role on this team and who else we might see play a little bit of the point.
Yeah, Raven is one of our biggest leaders. She plays a lot of valuable roles that really go unnoticed. You know, she's the player on the team that can really pick her teammates up. She can see when people are having a bad day or a bad practice, and she can pick that out. And it's a really valuable asset to have on a team. She's also one of our most high IQ players. So she's the kid who knows where everyone's supposed to be, can put them in position. Sometimes it gets her in trouble because I'm like, will you just play, you know, and stop trying to orchestrate everything. But she's really fast too, and so, you know, no knock on Charity, but from our point guard position now, we've got some more speed in her and in Mallory Hampton and in Ace, the 3 of those kids who will bring the ball up for us at some point in time this season. And so we're able to play a little bit faster, and excited for what that position can do for this team in terms of a speed and a transition standpoint.
Yeah, talk about all the new faces. You mentioned Mallory. You've got 6 new faces, 2 transfers, 4 freshmen. Who are some of those new faces that we might see make an early impact this year?
Yeah, from a transfer standpoint, both of them will have immediate impact. Annie from Binghamton, our transfer from Binghamton, is kind of a 4-man, a role player, does a little bit of everything, is the workhorse behind the team, another vocal leader. And for someone who, has stepped on the floor and is already has a leadership presence, just speaks to her leadership qualities. She will have an instant impact on this team, as well as Ace, our transfer from ULL. Very explosive player, very dynamic scorer, can score at all 3 levels. And you think Raven's quick, this kid is fast. And when Raven says someone's fast and faster than her, she's fast. So she's going to be really fun to watch, just because of how explosive she is and how well she can score the ball. And then the other kid that stand out already this far into practice is Mallory Hampton, our freshman, who will absolutely have a role for us this year. Is actually honestly vying for a starting spot as a freshman, and really has no concept of how good she already actually is, which just makes her fun. Fun to be around, fun to coach. Her teammates love playing with her. Sometimes she gets picked first if we pick teams, and she just doesn't even know. It's like, I'm a freshman, I just got picked first. And but I think she's going to have a really solid career here at Samford.
Let's talk about the non-conference schedule. And before we get into some of the teams you're going to see, just talk about building the non-conference schedule, because obviously in a COVID year, there's some challenges just with finding teams to play right now.
Yes, I probably owe John Belier a raise after all this, because it's been a stressful process. We've lost out on some solid non-conference games and had to go and scramble for games. And so, we trade Presbyterian and Murray State for Alabama and Indiana. But for us, we just wanted to play games. And this year, more than any, I felt like, why not go play those teams? Why not really challenge ourselves in the non-conference and put ourselves in position to face adversity and honestly to just have games to play? Because the alternative is us potentially having to play Mercer 3 times or Furman 3 times, and I would rather play Alabama than have to play Mercer 3 times going into the tournament. It is going to be a really challenging non-conference season. But we're just excited for the opportunity to play.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of them. You got 5 Power 5 teams in all, and you start at Alabama, at Auburn, at Indiana. I mean, how much does that prepare you for SoCon play?
Yeah, I think from a mentality standpoint, you might not see wins in the win column, but we had a really challenging non-conference season last year, and we didn't necessarily see wins in the win column, but we had takeaways every game, and we competed in every game, and we found ways to continue to improve. And so that's what we're going to focus on in this non-conference season, and hopefully, after facing all those teams, all that size, all that athleticism, there's nothing that we haven't seen going into the conference play.
And just looking around the rest of the Southern Conference, a league on the rise, who are some of the other teams maybe you're looking at that are going to be in that top tier and challenging you for a SoCon title?
Yeah, I think Mercer is going to be right back where they were. They've got a couple transfers in, and they've got 2 of the best players in the conference coming back, who are obviously only going to be better. And then Chat, same thing. They've got a lot of returners coming back, but really everyone. I think the league is going to look really different this year because we had so many players. A lot of the best players have moved on, and a lot of new players, a lot of new faces. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
Carley, appreciate your time. We're all looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Carley Kuhns. That'll do it for this Samford women's basketball season preview. The Bulldogs will open the season at Alabama on November 25th.